My starting off point was in Australia, where I have referenced ancient Australian artwork. There I found in the Australian Kimberley the Bradshaw discoveries, an ancient indigenous woman, a tortoise, fish fossils, a crocodile and simils, all dating back 60,000 BC. Other important iconic images I've used for the painting are mostly from the prehistoric Paleolithic reference, which I found mainly in Europe and bordering onto the North African and West Asian regions. In Spain, I found in the Leopard Cave a bison which dates back 17,500 BC. In France, from the Lascaux caves, paintings dating back 17,000 BC, I have used a drawing of a wild curly cow. The rhino came out of the Chauvet cave in southern France. A Neolithic rock art engraving of the sleeping gazelle comes from Tinterhurt. The elephant rock engraving comes from Wadi Matandu, the UNESCO World Heritage Site in Libya. There were other interesting personal discoveries I made on my journey. They are 4 of the Paleolithic Venuses that were sculptured in that period. The Venus of Dolny, Vestinice, the Venus of Kosteki, the Venus of Gagarina, and the most photographed and iconic of them all, the Venus of Willendorf, which I referenced and used. By using my own interpretation rendering these images, they became my own beautiful interpretations of goddesses of fertility. No one knows for sure what their real purposes were, whether they were figures representing goddesses of fertility or they were just simply toy figurines. No one is quite sure of their significance. Nonetheless, they are mysterious, beautiful artifacts in their own right. You will also see I've used little zinc cutouts pasted onto the blue painted areas, reminiscent of tiny bait fish. The zinc cutouts work in perfectly as little fish, giving off bright reflections, something you can't achieve by using white paint alone. I'm sure we've all seen that bright light sun rays reflections from those tiny little fish in sparkling clear waters. Some of the images I've introduced have been engraved into the surface of my canvas, portraying rock-like carved images, which I discovered in my research, some of them overlapping into the Neolithic period. The canvas depth is more than 2 centimeters thick, so it was possible to engrave into the canvas without fear of cutting through to the other side. The engraved images were cut into the canvas to a depth of no more than 8 millimeters deep, just enough for the engraved effect to take place, and then massaged with white clay to smooth off the edges and unwanted cuts and gaps. As I approached the end of the work, I felt it was necessary to adjust some of the tones and colours which I felt were missing from the modern contemporary painting that I was after. Therefore, that had to be addressed by applying colour oil paint glazes to make them muter and more pleasing to the eye. You will experience 3 different impressions when viewing this painting because of the relief panels I've introduced onto the painting surface. The painting has an interesting 3-dimensional aspect. When you stand back looking at it from the left side, or alternatively from the right side, viewing it at a 45-degree angle, you will see the sculptured effect of the painting before you, which you can't see as well as just standing straight in front of the canvas. It is something that I really did expect to work as well as it has. That is the interesting additional perspectives when viewing this painting in real life. The prehistoric Stone Age artists of the Paleolithic period were amazing artists, painters and sculptors in their own right. Why they created such beautiful art in the most adverse conditions imaginable, we can only speculate. Nevertheless, their art should be always cherished, loved and preserved for all future generations. That concludes my little art project. Thank you for watching.